Speaking of respect, let's go over to Rouen, France, where there was a WTA 250, and kind of wrap up where the headlines have been for the past couple of days. Because this one has been indeed a headline in Rouen, which is an indoor 250, kind of similar to Stuttgart, but with being generous here, a lesser developed field. Like there wasn't anybody like Elina Svitolina was the number one seed. That should give you a context. She's actually in the final. It's Svitolina versus Danilovic for the final tomorrow. So good luck there. But the main headlines has to do with the 21-year-old French wild card Lois. It's either Lois or Louise. Lois?
I think it's Lois, yeah.
And I believe you pronounce her last name Boisson. Lois Boisson.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was Lois Boisson, something like
Lois
that.
Boisson.
I mean, don't forget when Trump got elected in 2016, I took one semester of French because I was saying I was going to leave France, and I never did. I couldn't quite pull the Rosie O'Donnell. So yeah, it's been almost 10 years, but yes, I think that's right. Lois Boisson, something like that.
Well, she's gonna maybe have to be a name that we get more familiar with because she had a moment in her relatively routine 6-love, 6-3 defeat of Harriet Dart in the opening round. But the moment that has really got people talking is when Harriet Dart, who was not only salty because she was losing the match, apparently was salty because there was an alleged odor coming from her opponent, and she made the umpire aware of that. And actually, you know who else? You know who made us aware of that moment on the internet? I'm talking to her. You.
Oh.
You, Tony. I didn't see that clip until the Gay Tennis Podcast posted it.
Let me tell you, I was one of the many. I think I was one of the early adapters. I wish I could remember who it was on Twitter. I gave them credit, but I can't remember who it was on Twitter who had put it out. And I just happened to come across it really early on and was sharing it everywhere. But it got picked up by just about everyone. And it's because it was some of the nastiest work you'll ever see on a tennis court. The way if you haven't seen the video, which you can go to at the Gay Tennis Pod on Instagram, but you see Lois walking past and she's kind of over getting ready to, start play. And Harriet Dart is getting up out of her chair and goes over to the umpire and says, "Can you ask her to wear deodorant because she smells?" And then there's a little bit that I find inaudible. I can't tell exactly. And then Harriet Dart turns around back to the umpire one last time and says, "She smells really bad." And it was that really bad that hit me in a weird way. I'm like, that is so unnecessary to turn back around and say it so loud we can hear it again. Really bad. I'm like, girl, that is just, I'm sorry. I know we've had some crazy things said on court, but that would be something that I would not get over quickly if I was Lois. I thought that was just nasty.
It was so nasty and was so rude. Shout out to Nene Lee.
Yes, exactly.
Is it bad that I'm laughing throughout the whole scenario? I don't think I'd be laughing, obviously, if I was the person accused of being stinky. But
not stinky.
It's stinky. I would want, whether they were a competitor or not, I would want somebody to tell me if my BO, it doesn't, just for the record, if my BO was acting a little weird that day. I'd rather be told than not told. From that perspective is why I'm like giggling a little bit because it's kind of funny, and I've never heard that kind of interaction on the tour. And on top of that, it just screams saltiness from Miss Harriet Dart, who, if you research enough, if you know, Harriet has kind of had some moments where she's been a little less than friendly on the court. I don't want to put the moniker of being like a mean girl on her, but people have said that. They've said it.
Well, I'm sorry, but if you're calling your opponent stinky on court and behind her back to a line judge and an umpire, because that's the thing. It's one thing to be like, "Girl, you smell," or "She smells a little bit," but to ask the umpire to ask your opponent to put on deodorant is absolutely bananas and something that we should not just brush over. It's hilarious. Yes. Now, did I laugh? Of course. Did I watch the clip? I don't know how many views I have on Instagram for this, but at least half of them are from me because I watched this video so many times. It is hilarious. And it's kind of like the fun drama that you like to see. It's like on a reality show when, like you said, the Nene, so nasty, so rude. That whole story was so funny about, Kimura is across the street. Like, it's fun drama, right? And this is fun. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you, if that was me, I wouldn't find it very funny and we would be having issues. But, I'm sure we'll get into it. The
Yeah.
response and what has happened afterwards has even made the story better. I mean, so Harriet Dart does this, it goes all over, the place
Mhm.
online. She then, after getting dragged, releases kind of a version of a notes apology on Instagram, right? Where she puts
An
an apology up
iOS
on her
press
story.
release.
Yes, exactly. The 2025 version of a press release apologizes, but Lois Boisson also showed that she has such a good sense of humor because then she kind of photoshops or someone photoshops a Dove product into her hand
Mhm.
and she posts that on her Instagram stories and tags Dove and kind of saying like I guess I need this Dove product because I smell, which to me just shows a level of humor that you don't normally get from tennis players.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. And it's gone even further. Dove ended up responding and saying that what did they say? Oh, it smells like confidence.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just like it's turned from a very small tournament, like you very politely said, what it was a lesser field. I mean, that's like saying I have a lesser serve than Roger Federer, but like it is a much, I think she's ranked around 300 for her to be getting, Instagram reposted by
Mhm.
Dove, a massive brand. Like it's just funny that this story has really taken off. I've enjoyed every second of it.
I want to see the Dove package or like the little
Mm-hmm.
press on thing on her shoulder next time she plays. She deserves that. I mean, she
Yes.
did go on to win that match, and I believe she won one more after that. So that was in a lot of different ways. That was like her coming out party. And for me, she is now. I'm going to have to work on pronouncing her name, but the arm, track, and like bicep game
Mm.
that Miss Beauchamp has going on, Sakari who?
No.
Because I mean, actually, I
Well,
believe she got further in that tournament than Sakari did. So Sakari is just really spiraling.
Well, and I'm sure her ranking's going to pass Sakari's here at some point. I mean, listen,
Yeah,
the way Sakari is tanking. When I know it's so easy to dunk on poor Maria, I don't like to jump on the bandwagon too much. But listen,
yeah,
one of them's getting wins somewhere.
yeah, and it's not Sakari, unfortunately.
Mm-mm.
Maybe